All right, y'all, let's talk about being born under the law, because we see Trump not paying taxes like we pay, or the Trump organization being convicted of things, or he's being persecuted with all these different things as far as legal matters and those types. But what this is showing us is a type of under the law, okay? If you have ever lived a criminal lifestyle, or a lifestyle that isn't acceptable to the society, and that the so-called law of man or society says or whatever is bad or whatever, okay? The ones that they shun, homeless people, that's another example. If they don't live by the rules and structures set up by the society and culture, then that's living under the law, okay? So these shadow organizations, or these mafia families, or these drug cartels, or human traffickers, or whatever, they all operate and live under the law, okay? And with Jesus, he was born under the law because he was born running. He was born on the trail. And Joseph and Mary had to run to keep him alive. And he returned later on in the land when it was safe, when the people weren't looking for him or whatever, right? So usually when people are looking for you and you're wanted, and they're going and killing the firstborns and all these other things, and your parents take you out to keep you alive, that's called living under the law, folks. You're breaking the law. And Jesus' parents broke the law. And back in that time, it was not good that a woman got pregnant without being married, or those types of things, okay? And we see these types of attitudes today in the world in certain parts. But as somebody is born under the law, they are born with parents or in a family that operates in something that is frowned upon, okay? And that is why Jesus was killed ultimately, because he went against the church, he went against the government, and they saw a threat to the kingdom, and all those different types of things, okay? And the crowds that Jesus spoke to, yeah, they listened to him, but what happened at the end? They were all offended, and they all left, and they all ended up hanging him up on the cross. But he was left with 12 buddies. One of them turned him in. That's the Judas. That's the Judas coming now of the red wave that's going to turn on Trump and go towards the Ron Dawn, the Black Dawn. That's how the red wave's going to divide, and the blood on the cross is going to come, and all these different things, folks, okay? The blood dawn, the cross. The blood dawn, the cross, the Dawn Nation, the donation, because more than likely Trump is going to be taken out, and that's going to be part of the crazy live event or whatever. And then his son, Donald John Trump Jr., would rise 3 days later and say, I'm Donald Trump and running for him or whatever, and that's where he rises as his father or whatever. But the devil's in the details on how they do this, but you got to have the eyes and the ears to be able to see these things that are being told you, and be able to see them in the mirror, okay? Because as people are shown dreams and visions and stuff, I think it's going to be a lot like we're shown in Hollywood, where we're shown an extreme version, but you got to put together the pieces, all right? Now, the extreme version is always possible, all right? But that is the last thing that the people would need, because that would be like the final stage. That said, there are going to be like some ISIS events or 9/11 events, but like the abomination of desolation in Matthew 24, that can be an abomination of like Obama coming back, or Michelle Obama coming back, or Obama taking classified documents, or that kind of thing. Or it can be the abomination of debt solution. So they figure out a way for the debt or whatever, and they all the people are in lockdown, and all the businesses are shut down. Mom and pops are shut down. There's no income or whatever. So they figure out a way to take care of everybody and to pass out the money and all these other things, and that would be the abomination of debt solution. And that is when you see these things unfold, and then you go to the mountains. Okay, so that can tie to a couple different things. That's where you have to have, you're being told a warning, so you have to have the eyes and ears to be able to see the warning take place, because it's like Nostradamus. The things that Nostradamus said, they've all happened, and some of them are happening now. Like, and you have to have the eyes to be able to understand the dark speak. So as well, you can see things happening in the world elsewhere, and we're living at a point in time where if you're just thinking just halfway, that you know that some of these things are going to be coming back in a mirror, because we're living so fast now that you can already see things relapsing from 2-3 years ago, 4 years ago. So either way, the people that followed Jesus, they were what? They were all put in jail. They were killed. That's usually what people do to criminals. Okay, so the times are going to be happening in a different way, and they've all scared everybody from people who can map together things. They make you think they're all crazy. They've got you scared of the Kool-Aid drinkers going out and wherever when it's time to flee the system or whatever, but everybody's already been drinking the Kool-Aid. That's what the culture's for, to make you feel like you're cool. They're giving you some aid because you can't think of the ideas yourself. So you got to come out and think of these things and do whatever, right? Some parents, like my mom, she told me to go against the grain, or to think for myself, or back in the day when nobody had green hair, I had green hair. Or back in the day when nobody had purple or blue or red or white or whatever hair, I had that 20 years ago, okay? Now, what happened? Everybody can have it at whatever job you have, okay? When I had green hair, you used to get fired for it. But now, it's a completely different world, okay? And now, they sell cheetah print pants, probably in the guys section, okay? Who knows? But I had to go and get my cheetah print pants or red leather pants or whatever from somewhere else, because I thought for myself, I wanted to be my own person, okay? Nobody wants to be their own person anymore. They just want to follow in line. They want to think what the other person's thinking. They don't want to think for themselves. If they do think for themselves, they're too afraid to tell anybody, because people think they're crazy. They don't want to be thought that they're crazy. They don't want to be shunned. They want to be invited to the parties. All this other bullshit that goes on, dude. It's hell on earth, all right? And you got to rise above it. And it's like one of those things that if you can go eat in a restaurant by yourself, then you're like halfway there, okay? Because I know a lot of people, they can't go and eat by themselves. They can't go and sit down at the bar or sit down at a 4-person table or whatever and have a meal by themselves and be comfortable, not be on the phone, or be on the phone, take a book, take a newspaper, whatever, okay? They just can't do it, all right? And everybody's just got that herd mentality. Why? Because they're the beast man. They crave whatever man's teaching them, whatever this bullshit. Like, it's all this garbage mumbo jumbo to make you. It's all a bunch of soft love, and we all know that what soft love is. What? A bunch of hate. It's a bunch of soft hate. Soft love, soft hate, it's the same damn thing. All right? And that's where your hard love comes in. When your hard love comes in, that's when you actually get some changes in life. Either way, we went off on a little tangent. But being born under the law, that explains why Trump is breaking the law. He doesn't pay the taxes we pay. All these other things, because he's showing corruption, and he's going to like sacrifice himself. They're going to sacrifice himself for the greater good and the greater cause, and for the development of more God on earth, and for the fulfillment of the times and all these other things. But the devil's in the details on how these things will ultimately play out. But it's basically a few scores that Donald gets to choose from, and we'll be seeing this play out in a couple ways. All right, and the Twitter bird, the tweetment, and all that stuff will all be playing a role, and be part of the witnessing and different things like that, because they probably like tried to subdue some information about toxicities or whatever, right? And then the whole thing is gonna come collapsing down the clay and iron, and then it's gonna rebuild into a clay and iron, and then it's gonna rebuild into another system after that. All right, but you'll just follow the statue up and down from the iron and clay feet to the head, back down to the feet. All right, and it's just the time over time. And then the Bible is the foundation, and that is the foundation of the word, and those words will be done throughout. I assume the next Bible will be based around like syllables or that kind of thing, because we're going into a time where it's more like a broken down English for idiocracy, beastmen, and the alien men coming on and having to teach men language and all those kinds of things that we kind of see in the vision, the tell a vision that is locked up. Either way, folks, these are interesting times, and they're fun times, and they're unnerving times, but they're certainly not times where you need to be afraid and you need to be scared of those things out in the world. The only reason you should be scared of those things out in the world is if you start to believe that box, and if you start to do what that box wants you to, and you start to eat those oats called votes, and you go into the box, the slaughter box, to eat the votes, and they chop your head off, and you can't think for yourself anymore. And right there, you can't think for yourself, because you know that the voting structure isn't real, because you sit there and they have how many candidates in front of you. That's just the ones they show. There's other candidates that sign up for state by state that they just take the money, and they're never going to see the light of day. I know this because my girlfriend in high school, her granddad ran for president, and he lived in Houston, Texas or whatever. And I was like, they can't run for president, dude. Nobody can just run for president. And that was in high school. I was like, well, okay, he's got this. They proved that he's signed up and running for president. I was like, well, you ain't going to win. Like, what's the point? Blah, 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 blah. Either way. So even back then, I was awake to where, like, the voting didn't matter or whatever, okay? So, the presidents, they're all put out there in front of you. They start off with 40, 20 candidates or whatever. They narrow it down to 2 candidates, one on each side. And no matter who it is, they're part of the 10 or 12 families. That's part of the ancestry line. You can all go look on Wiki. And they're all part of the same family. Biden, Trump, Obama, Reagan, all of them except for Woodrow. Okay? So this tells you right there, how's that even possible if it's a real and free election? It's bullshit, folks. Okay? We'll end it here, folks. Just start kind of thinking for yourselves. All right? Adios.